Hey, how's everyone doing? I know it's been a while. It's the Elliot and Jason show again. Um, Both of us have been out and about, and so we want to talk to you a little bit today about changes. But first, we thought we'd give you a little bit of an update of what we've been doing the last few months. Jason, you want to go ahead and give us your update?
Sure. I've missed these shows. I've missed you, Elliot. It's been a long time since we've done one of these. I think the last one we recorded, I was in the country of Georgia, and that was a while ago. So what's been going on with me? Some wonderful things. I did spend a few months in the country of Georgia in Tbilisi, and I got married in Tbilisi, Georgia. So exciting things there. Wonderful to my lovely wife, Tatiana. And then shortly after the wedding, a few days later, I was on a plane to Tampa, Florida, and then a day later on a plane to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with a one-way ticket because I just started a new job about a month ago in Pittsburgh. It's going great. I love Pittsburgh. Beautiful, beautiful city, friendly people. It's a very affordable city. Just excited for this next chapter of my life. How about you, Elliot?
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, congrats on that. I've been following your journey and I was excited when you were posting your wedding photos and your move to Pittsburgh. Sounds like it's a good fit. And they had some like traditional restaurants there too, right? I saw you posted one of the restaurants that you went to in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's just all kinds of different restaurants here. I'm over in the south side of Pittsburgh, and Carson Street just has just everything. So yeah,
Cool,
really enjoying that. Yeah.
cool. Reminds me of when growing up in Michigan and downtown Detroit area with all its sections like Mexican town and Greek town and all that. So that's awesome. Well, for me, I've been basically running and working. So I let's see, in May I ran a 50K race in Helena with like 6,000 foot climbing, and that was did pretty well in that race. And then end of June, I ran my A race for the year, which was a 100-mile race around Butte, Montana. So 100 miles, 15,000 gain. It took me just under 37 hours to complete that at a 40-hour cutoff. And then 2 weeks ago, I ran a nut, try to run another ultra race and tried a 50-mile in the Elkhorn Mountains near just southeast of Helena. And that had 13,000 foot gain, but I ended up stopping at mile 33 with 8,000 foot gain. My legs were just done. I probably wasn't as recovered as I wanted to be. And then this last weekend, I ran some shorter races. And then I also took my dog who celebrates her 14th birthday, 14 years this month. So we went on a birthday hike and went 15 miles up into the mountains and about 4,500 foot gain. So keeping fit and then keeping busy with my job. Um, so those are things I've been up to. So as Jason and I were kind of reconnecting, we were talking about and thinking about how life changes, both professionally and personally, and the only constant is change, I guess, is the old adage. And so we were thinking, how do we adapt? How do we deal with change? So one of the things I thought of was pivoting, which is, the ability to be flexible, adaptable. When change comes about, you just figure out a way to work through it, or, maybe change your direction into something else that um, still interests you and still is something that you want to pursue. And I, for one, have been pivoting most of my career. Like I've been in several job markets. I've done contract work for like 10 years, and um, I was a programmer and a developer and a sysadmin like the first 12 years of my career, and then I hopped into owning my own business, doing contract working into team leading, more leadership roles, and then I dived into project management, and that's been my forte and my focus over the last 11 years. So I've pivoted, I've made changes. I've also moved from like software development, like traditional software development, to legal tech. It's still doing software development, but it's with a SaaS platform. And so but a lot of it is understanding what the judicial process is of the courts and the my stakeholders that I work with. So for me, it's been when a change has to be made, or something is feeling like I need to go in a different direction. I initially fight it, but then I embrace it of like, okay, this might be a good direction to go to. So that's kind of some examples I have. But Jason, what about you in terms of, dealing with change? Is any pivoting, or maybe you're resistant to change? What are your thoughts on that?
I think my thoughts at 55 are a lot different than my thoughts were at 25. It's just interesting how we evolve, I think, and look at the world differently. I think when I was 25, if, for example, I lost my job, I think I would have been really upset, would have been devastated, would have been like, why is the world doing this to me? Where, when I was a little over a year ago, I was laid off. I was 55, I think, or I was just about to turn 55. And I had a totally different view of it. It was the universe talking to me saying, hey, it's time to do something else. And I think at first, I was looking for a job like right away. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I got to get a job. And after a couple of weeks of not working, I was like, okay, if I don't get a job right away, it'll be okay. And I kind of changed my philosophy on it. I looked at it as an opportunity to travel. And fortunately, I was in a financial situation that I could do that. And I went to Europe. I went to Europe 8 times, and I spent a lot of time with my wife in Europe, and it was a wonderful, wonderful year. And I think I always knew, in the back of my mind that I had all this experience, I had skills, I had education, and I was going to get another job. And, sure enough, I did get another job and everything worked out. And it was right around that time that I got laid off. I heard this quote. It was a Confucius quote, and it was something to the effect that everybody has two lives, and the second life begins when we realize that we only have one. And I think a lot of that at the time really resonated with me because I was 55 years old and I realized that I didn't know how many years I had left, and here I had an opportunity to spend time with my wife and to travel, and that was sort of the beginning of my second life.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think there is an essence of age and experience that plays in terms of how we react to change. Um, Thinking back professionally for me in terms of the number of layoffs and forced changes or forced directions that I had to take um, in my 20s, dealing with those was a lot more hectic and a lot more stressful. Although I would have to admit, even though the last 3 years dealing with three different layoffs, that did add a lot of stress on me. And I did have the similar type of reactions as I did in the past. But I was able to calm myself down and just focus in on, okay, what do I need to do? What are my next steps? And really focus in on action versus dwelling on the negativity, or what's happening, like woe is me. I think I did that a lot when I was in my 20s when similar types of things happen professionally. So I think you're right. I think as we age, we get a little bit more wisdom or a little bit more perspective on life that we will react differently. Although I'm still kind of uh, frugal in the regard that I don't think I could just go on trips like you did, even though like my finances when I was got laid off in the last few years was pretty good, but I was always cautious, I guess, in terms of like um, not wanting to spend the money, not wanting to lose the money. So I think kind of that was my reaction to it. But you do bring up a good point. Is like life is short, and we got to take advantage of what we got today. Um, so I think that's a great lesson that you've been able to learn. Um, and I kind of try to embrace that as well, but in different ways. Um, but it is it and, not to belabor the what's going on in the job market, but there's so many things that have been happening and the job market hasn't really improved. It is evolving. It's a new normal, and people, there's a lot of changes out there that people are being resistant and not willing to, pursue the pivots or different directions because they're basing it on their past experience in terms of being able to get jobs quicker and things like that. So I think we're living in a constantly, changing world. Um, so for the future, I know of what you've done and what you have been able to embrace, but what do you think about the future in terms of changes that might occur down the road and how you might deal with those?
I've said it on a few episodes that I think AI is already changing the world, and I think it's an opportunity for all of us if we can embrace AI and learn about it and learn what we can do with it in our personal lives and potentially our professional lives. We can start our own businesses with AI because the AI agents will be our employees,
Mhm,
and you can start a business with very little overhead.
mhm,
So I think rather than being scared that it's going to take our jobs, I think we acknowledge the fact that it's going to take our jobs. And instead we pivot, right? That's the theme of this video or recording is that we pivot to utilizing AI to make money for ourselves so that we no longer have to worry about layoffs. And
mhm.
I think that we don't have to have all the answers right now of how we're going to do that, but it's a great time for everybody to start looking into it, asking themselves, hey, what am I good at? What do I enjoy doing? What do I have to offer the world? And then maybe exploring how AI can help you create something that you can share with the world and also make money at the same time.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And the younger generation, like the ones that are in Gen Alpha, whatever it is, they're really young kids these days, the ones that are in their teens. They're already embracing that and they're creating their own products and selling them online. And so that younger generation has embraced it, is embracing that technology of AI. And I think all generations need to embrace aspects of it that can make their work more efficient. So I definitely agree with that. I think there's a level of fear, there's a level of disdain for the technology, but the sooner that people realize that it's gonna be here for a while, and it is part of the change that is occurring. And if people can pivot to it and use it more, that it might pay off for them in the end. So totally agree with that. So awesome. Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of bases today. I'm really glad that we were able to reconnect. I know it's been a while. I know we have a decent following of people that like to see our videos, so hopefully you all have enjoyed this. And don't forget to like and share. And we appreciate you all. So we hope you
Yes,
have a
thank you
great
very
day.
much. Thanks for your support, everybody.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you soon.